Dassault Mirage 2000 is a French multirole, single-engine, fourth-generation fighter jet produced by Dassault Aviation. It was designed in the late 1970s as a light fighter to replace the Mirage III for the French Air Force. Armée de l'Air. The Mirage 2000 evolved into a multirole aircraft, with several variants developed, with sales to a number of countries. The aircraft was later developed into the Mirage 2000N and 2000D attack variants, the upgraded Mirage 2005, and several export variants. More than 600 aircraft were built and have been in service in 9 countries. The origins of the Mirage 2000 can be traced back to 1965, when France and the United Kingdom agreed to develop an Anglo-French variable geometry AFVG swing-wing aircraft. 2 years later, the French withdrew from the project for cost reasons, after which the British would collaborate with West Germany and Italy to produce the Panavia Tornado. Dassault instead focused on its own variable geometry aircraft, the experimental prototype Dassault Mirage G. The design is expected to materialize on the Mirage G8, which will serve as a replacement for the popular Mirage III in French Air Force service. The Mirage 2000 began as a secondary project tentatively named the Delta 1000 in 1972. Dassault devoted much attention to the Mirage G8A, a fixed geometry derivative of the Mirage G8, that served as a competitor to the Panavia Tornado. The Mirage G8, envisioned as the French Air Force's Armée de l'Air Avion de Combat Futur, ACF or Future Combat Aircraft, not in line with the service's concept of its future aircraft. ADA wanted a Mach 3 fighter, not an interdictor aircraft incapable of dogfighting like the Mirage G8. Therefore, Dassault redesigned the Mirage G8 into the two-engine Super Mirage G8A, which proved ambitious and expensive, 2.5 times the price of the Mirage F1 and over-engineered, especially compared to the F-16, which had just received orders from a number of European countries. As a result of which, in a meeting of the National Defense Council on December 18, 1975, the Super Mirage was cancelled. The ACF was the first attack aircraft and the second interceptor, while the Delta 2000 was the opposite, but the single-engine Delta 2000 was much more affordable. At the same meeting of the National Defense Council, the redesigned Mirage 2000 was offered to ADA, and 3 prototypes were ordered. ADA in March 1976 issued a series of official requirements whose parameters correspond to the estimated performance of Dassault's new fighter. The main role of this aircraft is interception with secondary ground attack capability. ADA has a commitment to 200 aircraft. The first aircraft will be delivered in 1982. This is the return of the first-generation Mirage, but with some important innovations that try to overcome its shortcomings. The production of the Mirage 2000 involved 3 construction sites, 2 located in Bordeaux, specializing in different components. The wings were made in Martignas, and the fuselage was made in Argenteuil, northwest of Paris, with final assembly carried out at Bordeaux-Marignac Airport. The first prototype, Mirage 2000 No. 01, was made by hand at St. Cloud before being transferred to Dassault's Isters facility for assembly, in the hands of Jean Corot. No. 01 made its first flight on 10 March 1978, just 27 months after the program was run. During a 65-minute flight, Corot brought the aircraft to Mach 1.02 without afterburner. Before boarding, the altitude is more than 12,000 meters and accelerates the aircraft to Mach 1.3. By the end of May, The aircraft had exceeded Mach 2 and a demonstrated airspeed of 1,200 km per hour, 650 kn. On the other side of the speed spectrum, the Mirage 2000 proved capable of flying at low speeds, as demonstrated at the Farnborough Airshow in September 1978, where Dassault pilot Guy Mateau Morard raised the nose of the aircraft to an angle of attack of 25 degrees. When the aircraft slowed to 190 km per hour, 100, while carrying fuel tanks and weapons. The second prototype, No. 02, made its first 50-minute flight in September 1978. At the controls of Morard, the aircraft was to test several avionics and weapons transport systems. Because it caught fire on landing, the aircraft was lost in May 1984. No. 03 made its first flight in April 1979. Equipped with a complete weapons system, it was used for radar and weapons testing. After 400 flight hours, they were sent to the Centre d'Essais en Vol, a flight test center. Although 3 prototypes were ordered in December 1975, Dassault built an additional 4th single-seat demonstrator for its own purposes, which were learnings from previous aircraft, namely a reduction in fin height and an increase in fin sweep, a redesign of the air inlets, and the FBW, a system, the only double-seat Mirage 2000B of the test program, first flew on 11 October 1980. The first production Mirage 2000C, C for Chasseur, fighter, flew on November 20, 1982. Deliveries to Ada began in 1983. The first 37 Mirage 2000 CS delivered were equipped with Thomson CSF radar Doppler multifunction, RDM, and powered by SNECMA M53-5 turbofan engines. The 2000 C38 Mirage has an upgraded SNECMA M53P2 turbofan engine. The Doppler radar impulse, RDI, built by Thales for the Mirage 2000C, entered service in 1987. Its range is much better at around 150 kilometers, and it is linked to the Matra Super 530D missile, which is much better compared to the older Super 530F. The look-down shoot-down capability is also much better, but these radars are not typically used for air-to-surface roles.